Alright, Super Mario 3D World.
No! What the? Where do you keep coming from? I just wanted to tell you that this video is pointless because Super Mario 3D World is the easiest game ever. Well, that really depends. Oh, don't even get me started. You got Peach and Rosalina, both very overpowered characters, and you got the Tanuki and Katsu, and at that point, you might as well just play with a blindfold on. Well, you do make a fair point, but I've already decided that this list will be based off of playing as Mario, and you can't enter a single level with a power-up just to be as balanced as possible, and I'll be covering the green stars and stamps in those levels. Yeah. Now shoo! 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 Without further ado, let's-a go!
You've probably heard of the slogan, "a shot in the dark," before, but this stage is quite literally a beam in the dark. You'll find yourself in a poorly lit ghost house with nothing but a light box on your head. On your path, you'll find several ghosts, boos, and dry bones. Thankfully, you can kill the ghosts, but they won't die right away from the light. They take a few seconds to poof away. It's a pretty cool gimmick, and it makes some parts of this level difficult. For the most part, the ghosts move in a set pattern, so it shouldn't take too long to figure out where to stand in order to poof them away. The boos can be a bit more troublesome as they move around when you're not staring face to face with them. This level picks up in difficulty when you're going for green stars. That's because of all the dry bones you have to deal with, and by the end you'll have to avoid several at once, while also avoiding the ghost and while there's a platform spinning. It's just a lot to deal with, that's for sure. On the way, you'll find a red ring that, if you get all the coins, will grant you a Tanuki suit, which helps tremendously with defense, but even then, it's still easy to run into some enemy by accident. The only thing really helping you out are POW blocks you'll find periodically, but they're only a temporary help. Punching them grants you extra light for a second and knocking out nearby dry bones. This stage becomes a challenge if you lose your light box, because then you can't really kill anything, and you just have to jump around like an idiot hoping you don't die or fall into a pit. Losing your light box will make it impossible to get one of the green stars too, since one of them is inside this giant boo. So overall, not the most difficult stage if you have power-ups on your side, but without them, it can be a bit of a struggle. Here's one of those stages that a lot of people consider hard, which I can agree with, but I don't think it's as brutal as some lay it out to be. Grumplump Inferno's main idea is to run across a bunch of these Grumplump things. Basically, they spin over lava and you have to stay on top. A lot of people find this really tricky, but honestly, if you just run across instead of jumping, it's not that bad. I used to be one of those people that would jump after every spin, and yeah, it does make it a doozy. It's still scary running over the lava, but totally manageable if you know what you're doing. At the same time, however, one mess up and you're dead since lava is a one-hit KO. Plus, the stamp is incredibly hard to get. It's all because of that stupid hammer bro. It's likely you'll get hit by his hammer and lose your Tanuki suit, or just fall into the lava since it's near impossible to see your shadow at the angle you're portrayed in. And yeah, you can get a Tanuki suit. That in itself makes this level even easier, and this is going in without any extra stock of power-ups. The green stars aren't too bad either, but the second one requires you to grab all the green coins while avoiding some lava balls, but it's nothing to sweat over. Which is ironic considering we're surrounded by lava. Haha. This is one of the more unique stages in the game because of the way you have to play it, and it's also one of the more challenging. This is one of those short time stages, so you really gotta boogie your booty. Right away, you're given a box that randomly gives you a power-up. This determines how hard the level's gonna be or not. Through the door is a 2D section where everything is behind a shadow. The main goal is to destroy a giant stack of Goombas so a box will appear and you can finish the level. Along the way is a boomerang power-up and some bombs to help out, but there's lots of cannonballs to avoid. And best of luck avoiding them. You're gonna need some good timing to not get hit. That's where a lot of the challenge is. You must have a power-up or bombs to finish the level, and there's no real way to shorten the Goomba stack. So what do you do about that? Well, you can take it slow and steady, carefully avoid all the cannonballs, but oh crap, the time's running out! You see where I'm getting at now? So this level isn't too hard once you've done it a few times, but getting hit can ruin your chances of success significantly. Plus, getting the boomerang requires a well-timed jump off a cannonball, or playing as Peach and just floating across. And I really don't know how you'd get that first green star without using Peach or having a power-up. It's put in such a ridiculous spot. But outside of that, there's not much else to say as it's one of the shortest levels in the game. And here's another level with a short time slot to work with. Trust me, that's going to be a running theme. Towering Sunshine Seaside has you dealing with towers of Goombas, as well as lots of fire bros. Right away, you gotta head towards the question mark block and grab a power-up, because most of these Goomba towers can only be destroyed with power-ups. There are a lot to pick from, which is nice, but if you get hit, you have to go back and find another power-up, which just chews away at your time, even with the timers along the way. What makes this stage hard is all the fireballs you have to avoid. At some points, they're going to be flooding your screen. You really have to be careful. If your depth perception isn't that great, you may find yourself getting hit. What puts this stage so high on the list, though, is the fact that you are given a lot of timers. So even if you make a good amount of mistakes or get hit a few times, you'll probably be okay and still get to the flagpole on time. If there were no extra timers at all, or even less, this could easily have been number 3 or 2 on the list. Faster Fort Fire Bros. Say that 5 times fast. Fast Fort Fire Bros. Fast Fort 5. So we start off with 30 measly seconds, which means you're forced to not only play through the stage fast, but you have to get the timers along the way. The big obstacle is destroying all the Fire Bros. They often bounce around on top of Goomba towers or throw fireballs through the clear pipes. Normally this wouldn't be so bad if you just watch their patterns and take them out carefully, but there's no time for dilly-dallying. You gotta move those cheeks and move them quick. The Thwomp section can be a bit of a mixed bag, because you'll either get across quickly, or they're going to block your path, forcing you to jump on top of the pipe or wait for them to move back up. It can sometimes be a hassle. If you get to the end without your fire flower, good luck killing that final fire bro, since the Goombas are stacked up higher than you can jump. The one fire flower you can get is the only thing that really makes this stage bearable. Now add getting the green stars on top of all this other crap, and you got yourself one dastardly beef. Like seriously, the second green star makes you find some invisible blocks so you can climb this tower, but it takes so freaking long to get up there that by the time you do, you got no time to spare. Ay ay ay! Cosmic Cannon Cluster. Say that 5 times fast. Most of the level forces you to use this cannon box, which I've never been that big a fan of because the rate of fire is slow, plus it's automatic firing unless you charge up a shot. You'll use this to destroy walls, hit switches, and knock out dry bones. What's especially annoying about the breakable walls is there's usually no fulfilling reward. I know that doesn't have to do with the difficulty of the stage, but seriously, put something better than coins in the wall or there's no point in taking the time to break them in the first place. Now yeah, you can find one green star, but that's it. Anyway, there's 2 sections in particular that are just horrible. The first, you have to bounce off these cannonballs to get to higher ground. That's easier said than done, depending on the character you use. For someone like Toad that has short jumps, it's very hard timing your jumps to get up top. Even with Mario, you gotta be careful. After that, there's a really slow water part, which is more boring than anything. All the blocks and cannonballs aren't particularly threatening when one of your own cannonballs can blow up everything around it, but then there's the last section of the stage, and man do I dread this. You have to hit these switches with your cannonballs to move forward. Trying to aim your shot can be difficult because of a lack of a shadow to work with, and near the end you have to avoid a couple of dry bones that infinitely spawn near you, and if you get hit by one of them, you gotta go back to a block, get another cannon, and try again. There's even a green star that makes you hit a switch just to get to it. The whole thing is just a drag. Some of the switches are so far away that you have to use a charged cannon shot. Like seriously, this stage is just one big cluster. You probably expected this stage at some point. Number 4 is the boss blitz. As the title implies, it's a boss rush where you gotta take out Boom Boom, Pom Pom, King Thunk, Boss Brolder, Histocrat, and Motley Boss Blob. That's 6 bosses all in one go. Just the sheer length of this stage puts it on the list, and dealing with some of these bosses without power-ups beforehand can be a bit of a sore thumb, especially Histocrat. Waiting for a catsuit can waste so much time, and time is essential. If you run out of time or die, then you have to fight the bosses all over again. Not every boss is challenging though. The Boom Boom and Pom Pom of course take no effort at all, and even King Thunk is stupid easy once you figure out what you're supposed to do, but even then you have to complete them all pretty quickly. There's not much else to say about this one, outside of it being a pretty stiff challenge and it requires you to really move fast. Broken Blue Bully Belt. I tell you to say that one 5 times fast, but at this point I don't even care, okay? This stage can be incredibly enraging, and not because of a short timer, but the level design. Most of the platforms pop up and down through lava, and as you know, lava is an insta-kill, so poorly timing your jumps will boil you down to shreds. You can get a hold of a Tanuki suit near the beginning, but if you lose that thing, well, you're pretty much done for dinner. That's really the big challenge for this stage, is just timing your jumps well and keeping that Tanuki suit. The hardest part is running across the cylinders while avoiding the spikes and lava balls. You really gotta pay attention or you're gonna get smacked sooner or later. And nobody likes getting smacked up, man. This is the stage that I struggle with the most outside of World Crown. Speaking of... You know, I really enjoy the Mystery House levels in Mario 3D World. They're a nice break from the main game and give you a chance to nab a bunch of green stars. But then they went way too far with the Mystery House Marathon. You can collect 30 green stars from this one stage, but you know what that means? You gotta endure 30 levels. Yes, 30 all at once. Make one mistake at any point and you go back. Now, some people may not find this stage that bad because a lot of the levels are simple, but that's only near the beginning. The last 10 or so sections is where you're really sweating those bullets, and to think that you only have 10 seconds apiece too. So by the time you get to the end of this stage, you've already been playing for so long with no breaks that it's more likely that you're gonna slip up and die or mess up. Well, I mean, technically you could pause whatever you want, but that's besides the point. And don't even get me started on catching that stupid bunny. The Mystery House truly is a marathon, and an unfun one at that. I'm sure you can guess what number 1 is. What else would it be? Of course it's Champions Road, and let me tell you this, you're truly a goddamn champion if you can beat this stage, especially without power-ups. Now, I have completed Champions Road a couple of times, but that was with 2 Tanuki suits and hours of practice. This is the longest stage in the game, the most difficult, and there's no checkpoints. The first part has you jumping around, avoiding the Octoomas, then you go up some pipe, kill some fire bros, and run across super thin platforms while avoiding all these charge and chucks. Already the difficulty is kicked up, and this is just the beginning, okay? Then the second part has some timed platforms that fade in and out of existence, and how anyone can get through this without a Tanuki suit is beyond me. The timing is actually the dumbest thing in the world, okay? Like, seriously, look how quickly they change! And then there's the third section that has you fighting some magic Koopas while the ground below falls apart. Kill them all and you move to more platforming with tons of rotating spikes and crap. After that, you bounce off these spiny assholes, then some piranha plants, and you're led to a small water section where you gotta avoid even more spikes. And like I said, this is all without checkpoints. Then you finally get to the final part where you run across some speed pads and you have to collect 5 key rings to make some box appear, all while avoiding a million bajillion plasma rings. Then you go through some pipes that say thank you and you win. Good freaking God. Champions Road really pushed my freaking limit. Oh, God, this honestly just might be one of the hardest Mario levels in existence. But with that, guys, thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and let me know in the comments what you think the hardest stage in Super Mario 3D World is. Thanks so much for watching once again, and I hope you have an awesome day. And thanks for watching again. Just want to say it 3 times in a row.